Hello and welcome, or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer and I am the owner of TGL Embroidery and Handmade Gifts. In this video, we will be going over the Gingerbread Christmas 3D houses, and I'm really excited to share this with you. I've never done a 3D kit before, and I've had a lot of people ask me about it, so we're going to dive in and spend this beautiful month of July doing Christmas stuff. I know I'm a little late to the game, but it's been a busy summer. So we're gonna dive in. I've already opened up the colors. I like to sort my colors first. So I've got a ton of white here. I think we got 28 strands of white, yellow, red, green, blue, tan, and this mystery color, which I have no idea what it is. If you look here, it comes with instructions, and these instructions are huge. So this is where you find the colors, and this is where you find the strands. I don't know what color this is. It stops at tan. Everything else, I have no idea. So maybe this was put in the kit by accident. I'm not quite sure. But it's here, so I'm just gonna keep it on here. I'm guessing this is for applique, and it's just missing here. So that's my guess. I'm just gonna assume it's like a dark tan. So we'll see. But I've never had that happen before, so I'm just gonna assume this is missing off of here. So here's all the colors. I like to sort mine with this ring. And all the stuff that I use for these kits are on my Amazon storefront, so that link is in the description. Check that out. You'll find all the supplies that I use there. And here is all of the symbols and everything. It tells you the stitches we'll be doing, how many strands per stitch, what color to use, and then here's the symbols on the chart. So the symbols will be very important. Gives you all the stitches: applique, outline, straight stitch, chain stitch, back stitch, satin stitch, lazy daisy stitch, and French knot. I have pretty much every single stitch tutorial on my channel if you want to look at those. It should be under a playlist for like Embroidery 101, something like that. If I find it, I'll link it to this video, and you guys can, if you're unfamiliar with any of these stitches, you can look at those. This is blank, but it also gives you beads and sequin colors. And then the instructions, like I said, are huge. Move this over. So it gives you all these instructions here, supplies you need. I recommend scissors and polyester fiberfill, and some straight pins. So either straight pins like this, or I have clips that I use too. I use these clips too, whichever works. But that's pretty much it. It says poster boards needed. Poster board does come with the kit, however, sometimes you need more. So either you can purchase poster board at the dollar store, your local grocery store usually has some type of poster board, or sometimes I save all mine, so I'll probably have some extra poster board from previous kits that I've done. Gives you basic instructions for sorting your floss, cutting out each piece, separating floss strands, using floss on your needle, positioning felt, stuffing your pieces, appliquing pieces, embroidery on your pieces, sequining, and beading. Okay, gives you everything. Now, if you're brand new to this kit, that's a lot of information. So I'm hoping that this video will be very helpful for you. I know a lot of my subscribers are visual learners, so videos are very helpful. I'm hoping this will be helpful too. And if you've made this kit before, please let me know in the comments and tell me what you think of it and your experience. I'd love to hear your stories. So this is the first one. It looks like it's this one. Looks like this is the first one right here. Okay, so building number 1 has 24 pieces, which isn't too bad. I think a lot of the work is going to be embroidery. And then if we go down, we're gonna, like I said, this is a huge piece of paper. That's why I am trying to make sure everything's in focus. Okay, and then the second one is the triangle house. Has roughly 30 pieces, roughly, give or take. Probably less than that, actually. And then looks like this house is the biggest one. This has 30 something pieces on it. It's got the most detail, it looks like. And then this one, this last one, is pretty similar. So these last two houses have the most detail, and they are a little bit bigger. So we're going to start with the very first one that it shows. So we'll start with gingerbread house number 1. And I don't know what to call this one. I guess just a small triangle house with the red roof on it. Okay. All right, so we are going to grab, let's see, use the front of the house 1 as a template and cut out 2 pieces of poster board. Okay, we will be using the poster board. I might have to go grab some more poster board because I don't think the kit came with enough. So let's do that real quick. Real quick, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to show you what's in here before we start cutting stuff. So it comes with this bundle of beads and sequins, all pre-sorted. It also comes with 2 needles. This is the beading needle, and this is the applique needle. Hopefully we've got plenty of beads and plenty of sequins, hopefully. Not a lot of blue in here, which is a little concerning, but hopefully we'll be okay. So I've got plenty of these. So I'm just going to stick these back in here in the bundle until I'm ready to dive in. And then it comes with a colored picture, of course, and then a mess of felt. Okay, here's the pile, and it's actually not too big. The felt itself seems pretty good, not too thin. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. So I'm guessing this is like a red-brown color. I'm thinking that goes together. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, and then this brown, it's like a tan color. And it looks like we'll be working off of the tan. Yep, okay, so let me grab some scissors. And it says to cut out the front of number 1. Oh, we got some fading. Luckily, I can see the numbers still, so that's not too bad. Okay, number 1 is upside down. It's right here. So here's number 1. Oh, it looks like we're gonna have some fading here too. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, there's some fading here. Sometimes the stamping process does that for some reason. Okay, I'm just cutting that away from the rest of the felt, so we're going to put the rest of this aside. And cut this out. So we're just going to cut this out like that. Make sure that the stamp is cut away. And then once we're done, we're going to start tracing. Okay, taking the poster board from the kit, we're going to try and utilize as much of this as we can before we dive into a different poster board. So what I like to do, well, what's suggested is usually give yourself a little bit of room on the edge here for sewing. A ruler would be good for straight edges. I don't usually use a ruler, but in this case it might be a good idea. If I can find my ruler. Oh. I'm so sad I stepped on my large quilting ruler and I broke it. Luckily, it's still a foot, so it's still usable. That line's pretty good. You may need to trim some excess away even after cutting this out. Okay. I need to grab my other scissors because these ones are for fabric and this is not fabric, so let me grab my other scissors. I think we gotta cut 2 out. Yep. So once I get this cut down, I'm gonna test it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to trim it some more, which is pretty normal. So we want to have a nice space. Sorry for the noisy kids. Anybody else counting down to when school starts? Because I sure am. I'm going to trim that. I think, let's see, when do my kids start school? I think they start school in almost 4 weeks. So we're a month away. Although we still got fun things planned for the summer. Okay, so that looks pretty okay. I gotta have enough space in between to sew. That's better. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one to cut out the second one so I don't have to trim it so much. Oh my gosh. Making a mess. All right, I'm gonna trim out another one and then we'll get back to it. Next is embroidery, and I like to do embroidery first because when you put your beads on, it gets caught. So I like to do my embroidery. It says embroider and sequin the front of the house. Note that several colors of sequins are used, okay? So the main color of sequins for the front is white, and there are other colors. We've got red, and it looks like we've got some French knots as well. So, but first we're gonna do some embroidery, and it looks like there's a lot of squigglies and curlies, and I'll just show you how I do them, and then you can do however you need to. So I'm gonna start with probably the black one. So let's turn this paper over and see what we're working with. So the outline stitch. So we're going to be outline stitching with 2 strands of white. And let me get my needles ready, and then we'll start that. All right, we are ready to embroider. I've got 2 strands of white on my embroidery needle, applique needle, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we are doing some squigglies, looks like. So I'm right-handed, so my thread tends to curve this way. If you're left-handed, it might be the opposite. So I'm going to start with probably down here. Yeah, we'll just start with this one down here. So we're going to start down here, come up from the bottom, make sure you got knots in the back, or a knot. And we're going to be doing the outline stitch. This thread is really thin, so I'm going to try and be careful. Making sure my tension is the same. And we are trying to put the stitch on top of the stamp so we don't see the stamp. And when you start to go in a spiral, your stitches should be a little bit smaller, so as to go around the curved edge. It should naturally curve as you go around. We're going to be doing a lot of these, but I will also show you, this is the Lazy Daisy stitch. It's humongous. There's only 2 strands for that Lazy Daisy stitch, so it should be interesting. My kids will not be quiet. Sorry about that. They're playing a game in the room. Okay, this can be a little tricky, especially with 2 strands. So make sure you take your time, especially if this is your first time. I'm going slow for you guys, so might do 2 more stitches here. There we go. Okay, so it should spiral nicely for you. Now, as far as these ones are the opposite, I start in the middle and I work my way outwards like that. So I start here and I go this way. And same for this. I'll start here and go in, and I'll start here and go out. So that's what I'm gonna do. Same with here. I'm gonna start here and go in, and then I'll start here and go in like that. I'm sorry, in then out, out then in. That makes sense. And then we've got a bunch down here too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the rest of them. When I come back, we're gonna do the Lazy Daisies. So I think this is a good time to show you the Lazy Daisy stitch. What I like to do is, let me knot my work down here real quick. I do it a little differently than the instructions. What I like to do, so let me show you the instructions. So the Lazy Daisy, they do it weird. They go like this. They do this weird loopy thingy, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So mine's a variation of it. It's like the chain stitch. It's like the chain stitch, but it's much easier. What I like to do is I like to put my tack down at the very top. Like that. And then I come all the way down here and I start my Lazy Daisy down here. I'm trying to get it centered because for some reason the stamp doesn't go all the way down. I don't know why. I'll come to the bottom and then I'll pull my needle through the tack down like that. And then I'll pull through, adjust my daisy, and then come back down like this. And there you go. There's the Lazy Daisy. That's how I do it. I find I can control the tension a lot more. And it's just easier. And I think it's faster to do it that way too. So that's my variation on the Lazy Daisy stitch. I'm holding it in place so it doesn't move around. See how it can move around. If the stamp bothers you, you can always rub it away, but it doesn't usually bother me. Okay, so that's how you do the Lazy Daisy. I'm gonna continue on, and when we come back, we'll probably do some French knots. Okay, now that we have all the embroidery, well, not all of it, but most of the embroidery done, there are a couple of places that we will need to put French knots, which are these round circles with dots in the middle. And then we need to do, I believe, some satin stitches. Let me double check. So we're looking at, yeah, okay, it says 1. Yeah, I'm not doing that. That will take me ages to do with 1 strand. So I am going to double it. I'm going to double the strands for satin stitch because it'll go by much better, and I can do a better satin stitch. Okay, so for French knots, you're gonna need 3 strands of white and your picture here so you know where to put them. So we're gonna start with these ones over here, and I'm gonna go right to left. You can go left to right, whatever you want. So what I like to do is double it over twice. And then make sure you put the needle back next to where you came up. And there is your first French. I'll do another one. Come up. Double over, or you can just do 1, that's fine too. I like mine a little bit on the thicker side. That's 2. And that's 3. And it's okay if they're a little irregular. I kind of like it that way, just to give it some personality. All right, so according to this, we need 2 more here, and then we're gonna do a sequin here. So don't do 3 here, do 2. And the same on the other side. We're gonna do 3 here, and then 2 French knots and a sequin right here. All right, once we're done with the French knots, then we're gonna go ahead and start on the satin stitching. Now that we finished the embroidery, I do want to mention that this is a satin stitch, and I do have a separate video all about that. So I went ahead and did that because it took me quite a while to do. So if you don't know how to do the satin stitch, I highly recommend that video. And now we're going to move on to beads and sequins. So if we look here, there are a couple different colors. This right here is the main color of the front, which is white. And then it shows that some of them are different color. So I'm going to do the reds. So the heart is a red bead, red sequin. And then everywhere else is white. So this is what we're looking at. See how there's only 5 red and the rest are white? That's what that means. So I'm gonna grab my beading needle, 2 strands of red because I like to use 2 strands, less likely to break. Grab a sequin and then grab a bead like that. And we're going to put it directly on the dot and then move the bead over slightly to secure it like that. So you're going to do that with every single color. And then so this is red, 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 white, 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 and then everything white, white. Okay. So when we come back, we're going to start appliquing some pieces, I believe. I believe that's the next step. But we'll see. Everything with all the sequins. Now we're going to look at these 2 pieces. Number 2, looks like we're doing little candy swirls right here. 2 and 3 together. If you have ever done any of the candy themed Bucilla stockings, it's a very similar concept. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these. Looks like we're doing red and green according to the picture. So we've got 3 and 3 and white. Did I say red? I meant white. White and green. So I'm just looking for number 2. Here we go. 2 and 2, 3 and 3. So these are basically applique, and I can show you after I assemble one of the candies how to put it on here so you know how to applique. Of course, if you're a seasoned Bucilla maker, most of my audience is, not everybody. I do get a couple of you that are brand new to the project, and I'm excited to hear you found my my addiction. I'm not the only one. There's a whole group of us. But yeah, if you've never done applique, I'll show you real quick once I get these assembled, and then once they're appliqued, then we add the beads and sequins. So let me go ahead and put these together, and then we'll applique. Let me tell you what, these are a pain in the butt. Be careful when you cut the green ones out, because it's so close to the middle, it might separate. And by the time you get all your sequins on, you can't really tell what it is. So it's a little bit of a pain, but I was able to manage to finish both of them. Let me grab some thread here so we can start appliquing these. Yeah, I can't tell, even on the picture, you can't really tell what they are. Are they candies? I don't know, but okay. So when you applique, go up from the bottom. I'm using white just because the bottom piece is white. I'm just gonna go straight down, and then I'm gonna go in between each of the sequins. Like so. It's not quite an applique stitch, but it'll do. think these are supposed to be windows. That's what I'm guessing. Okay. All right, that one's appliqued. We'll do the same thing for the other one. So we will finish the other one and then we'll do the next steps. Next is the door. It says to bead and applique the door trim to the front of the house. And then we're doing an actual door. So the trim first, and then applique the door to the front, and then add the embroidery. So this is why reading the instructions is important. All right, so looks like the trim is white. Here, let me zoom out a little bit. Just gotta find right here. I'm gonna grab different scissors because those are too dull. Okay, and then number 5 looks like it's going to be like a brown color. Okay, that's number 5. Okay, those are the pieces. And we're going to put beads on this and then applique it right here. And then we will, looks like we're going to be, it says to, I'm guessing these must be French knots then. Yeah, they are French knots. Okay. And if we look at the chart, we've got French knots and a straight stitch for the crisscross. Okay, straight stitches are pretty simple, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this door finished. And then it looks like we're gonna be adding the heart next. Here's what the door looks like with the frame and the door. Okay, I can already tell that those of you that don't like small pieces are gonna have a hard time with this kit. There's a lot of small pieces. So the next part is the heart, and there's 2 layers. There's a red and a green, and then there's a sequin that goes on top. So that's pretty simple. Cut out the red heart, cut out the green heart, applique those, and then add the bead and sequin. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then it says applique the roof trim to the front of the house, I'm guessing like that, and then add the sequins to it. Okay, so that's the next step. And then we'll be done with the front of the house, and then we'll start working on the sides. Okay, I got quite a bit of work done off screen. A lot of it is a rinse and repeat. So we've got these 2 sides of the house that are exactly the same. It's the exact same style as the front. Make sure you cut out 2 poster board pieces and then set those 2 aside. And then I also started on the roof. So it says to fold this in half and cut out 2 poster board pieces for the roof, which I did. And I started on the embroidery on the roof. Now, the scallops are a back stitch. I do have a separate video for the back stitch if you want to watch that. Otherwise, I'm going to end the video here because it's getting kind of long. So next time we'll come back, we will finish the roof. And then I believe there are red sequins and beads that go on top of the roof. Right here, sequin along the ridge line. And then hopefully we'll have the roof done. And then we can set that aside. So we're going to start assembling slowly, and then we're going to work on the back of the house. So when we come back next time, we're going to keep going, and hopefully by then we will finish the very first house in the kit. I'm still debating if I'm going to show every single house in this video series. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do that. It will take quite a bit because we've got 4 houses. We've got 4 little houses, so we're working on this one. This one looks small, so hopefully we'll finish that one quick, and then these 2, which have the most detail, as you can see. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want me to do every single house, or if you're okay with me finishing just one house, and then you can do the rest on your own. So let me know down below, and make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.